Hey everyone! How's it going? Wow. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm actually super excited. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. And I know that you all know that I have gone on YouTube before and listened to your practice, your performance, your playing in general. But it's always been pre-recorded, right? It's always been something that, people sent in videos. And, today, different. Today we're going to do something where I'm going to be sitting in on your practice sessions live. I would say, I would compare it to something a little bit similar to like, as if you were to have a friend, or you were to be sitting in on your friend's practice room, right? On your friend's practice session. Only today, I'm that friend. So, I'm pretty excited. Who's more nervous, you or me? Anyway, good to see the chat. Hi everyone in the chat. Wow, live streaming tech has improved so much since the pandemic. I have to say, this is like amazing. I can see everything. I don't have to have like multiple windows open anymore. It's just everything is in OBS. Oh, I love this so much. Anyway, and of course, back to how this is going to work. So I'm not going to show up unannounced and without an invite, right? So if you guys would like me to sit in on your practice session and give feedback or maybe just general encouragement and tips, please use the hashtag RayViewMe, okay? So it's in the description below, and I'll be basically studio surfing on Tonic, and I'll come over and have a look. Also, I know that people aren't equipped with like proper live stream equipment, so what we'll be using today is Tonic, as I mentioned. This is the practice app that I've been basically lurking in over the past 2 years, yeah, it's super easy to use, and I'll give you some. I'll actually pop the. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat right now. It's also in the description. Super easy to set up, and I'll give you some guides to open that and set up your studio, which is basically like a practice room Tonic. So yeah, if you guys get stuck, let us know in the chat. We'll help you get sorted, but I'm sure that you all are tech savvy enough to make it work. So, yeah, again, link is in the chat. So, thank you, Mark, for the donation. We're already starting with the ice cream donations. Shout out to Mark, man. I remember our Minecraft sessions so much and so fondly. Actually, by the way, I wanted to let you all know that, I've made a promise to myself that I'm going to be uploading a ton, on YouTube. So weekly new uploads are going to be, I think my New Year's, I guess it's more like mid-year resolution. So yeah, we can hold each other accountable both to practice, and you can hold me accountable to my YouTube upload schedule. So tons of ideas that I know you guys are all going to love. And yeah, we'll get to that. I'm super excited. Anyway, to give people some time, I know some of you are users already on Tonic, others are new to it today. I'm going to give those who are new to it today a little bit of time. I'm just going to do a little bit of warming up. That's right. I'm also going to be, this is the whole part of it. Actually, when I was first thinking up this like how this stream would work, it was a little bit confusing also to me. It was like, is this a masterclass, or is this more like this is a lesson? It's not really either, right? It's kind of like a little mixture of something more, I would say, candid, because we're just sort of here. It's work in progress. I get it. It's not like a masterclass where the students are sort of already finished already, at least at a certain point. Today you can play anything, right? And again, as long as you have that hashtag RayViewMe in your description, Also, would be great to have a few other details in there as well. You can read the description below, but I think I wrote that I would love to know how long you've been working on the piece, right? So that's sort of gives me context as to what kind of advice, and also your skill level. Like it's totally fine, right? Like this is for any level, beginner, intermediate, advanced. You could be intermediate, advanced, intermediate, advanced. You could also be beginner, advanced. No, that doesn't work. But it could be. It's just to label things a little clearly. So that's very helpful for me as well, to give me context as to what type of advice would be most helpful. But then again, it's not just for the person playing, right? The cool thing about today's stream is that everyone, even users not on Tonic, can benefit. So that's what I thought would make this a fun stream. Anyway, I'm just gonna warm up a bit and yeah, we'll, chat in the chat. Ooh, oh yeah, I opened my case today, and my violin was like, my A string had just completely unraveled. Oh, thanks, Kent. Oh man, okay, Chinese lesson here. 瑞哥，你是我男神. Oh, I can read that now. Translation. It means, Ray bro, you are my 男神, male. Yeah, well, it sounds weird when it's translated. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. But thank you, Kent. How's the audio, guys? Just wanted to do a quick audio check. Are we good? Are we you know, that's another thing that I've improved as well. Hopefully, I managed to hook up the mic to the camera, like an external mic, so that there should be no more audio sync issues. That everything just going through is synced perfectly. So that's, yeah. And I just wanted to check in with you guys about the levels as well. You guys can hear me, and you can hear the violin. Does it need to be louder? If it needs to be louder or softer, let me know. All right, so we are getting around to the, look at this, look how high level I've become. I could even make this a little bit bigger. So anyway, we're going to start with, I think there's a bunch of studios here. So, ooh, there are so many people practicing right now. Wow, 70 people practicing live. You know what? I'm just gonna start from the top, and actually there's a way to studio surf like this, so you guys can see. Oh, yep. And then obviously, like if there's the hashtag RayViewMe like Yulia has here, I will just pop in. So let's just join. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I have to here. Sorry. Let's see here. Okay, we're already having. Where did my iPhone? Oh, iPhone? Yes, maybe here. Sorry, guys. I need to add a thing. I remember how to do this. 1 second. This is on my end. Oh no, this is the first mistake I've had on live stream. 1 second. Okay, so I think I know how to do this. The violin is here. Yeah, okay. There we go. It works now. I don't know why it wasn't there. Okay, so this is, please give me some advice about playing octaves and intonation. Okay, cool. All right, so we're in Yulia's studio. Advice about octaves and playing in tune. I think that's 2 questions. So I'm going to start with octaves in tune. Like, I'm just going to combine the 2 questions together. All right, so So when I practice octaves, octaves are pretty. There's two types, right? There's the fingered octaves, that's more advanced, and then there's like just normal, I guess, shifting around octaves. So you've got. So I'm gonna just in the Mendelssohn, because I heard Yulia, you're practicing Mendelssohn. So this part, this part is pretty tough, right? And even for me, like I get very, very nervous when I'm playing that, and I'm always before I walk on stage, that's the part that I practice immediately before. So I'm just going to practice it now so you guys hear it. So there's a little bit of separation. And then here it's where it gets tough, right? So I think about it like I separate it. I also play on one string. And then I switch to the upper string, but still placing the fingers down. Right? So there's a bit of that as well. I'll just move more room here. So that's that. And then for fingered octaves, which is a more advanced technique, I would say that you gotta, where's a good point? Like that. There's just a lot of, you have to just think about what is the next interval. Is it a whole step or a half step? Is it like a whole note or half note? Yeah. So that's the difference for those kinds of fingered octaves. But that's not in the Mendelssohn. That's not in a lot of stuff. So we don't have to worry about that too much. Intonation in general, it's just a lot of listening. It's a lot of trying to figure out like whether or not you are aware enough and able to make that difference. Let's say. Usually intonation happens, or at least for me, it happens where I need to focus just between two notes. Let's say it was that. Then I'm really like just focusing on the amount of distance I need to be there to hit that note. And that note, it's like, okay, that's good. See, I do a little, and that's another thing. Sliding is kind of a sneaky way to be able to get stuff in tune. I do a little, I don't know if you could hear it through the mic, but I do a little bit of that. So obviously in a giant hall, when you think about a giant hall, no one's going to be able to hear that, right? But you can. And so that's sometimes enough. It's kind of like checking your string, like a little bit like plucking it a little bit for cold start moments, like that place where I just played the Bruch. So that's actually a pretty like common thing to do as well. So anyway, yeah, this is how this is gonna go. I'm just gonna thank you, Yulia. That was a great question, and yeah, hope this is the format. We're just developing it. This is a work in progress. We're practicing this together. All right, so Erica here, review me intermediate 2 weeks. All right, let's take a listen. Okay, so she's got a practice mute on. I think it's pretty, I mean, I can't tell. Yeah. Okay, so I hear that, I mean, through the practice mute, that there's a little bit of like you need to lift the bow a little bit higher. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, which is like how high do I need to lift the bow essentially? And the answer is actually like quite high. So it's like I actually don't really know this violin concerto. Apparently, it's the Dmitri Kabalevsky violin concerto. But thanks for sharing that, Erica. Essentially, I've been thinking about like how, because there's two thoughts that come to my mind when I'm playing. There's like one thought is I play for myself and I'm just enjoying things, right? And I can pretty much do anything that satisfies me as an individual. So I could just play it and be really into it. But then there's a second thought, which is I'm playing for other people, right? I'm playing for everyone else out there. Which then suddenly it's not about my comfort, right? It's not about how I feel. Of course, part of it is, but suddenly a greater part is about how do they feel? How does the audience feel? So that's like a thing that it's one of the first things that when you get into performing, when you start to experience that changes between what you've been working on, what you've been practicing all this time, and then suddenly you're doing a different mode, right? It's like going into public mode versus like for yourself mode. And yeah, so more like musical terms of like equivalent of enunciation is basically articulation, right? That's the word we use. So for example, I'll take another example because I don't know this piece, but any time that I'm having because I heard that there was a lot of chords and a lot of like basically bouncing bow, right? Third movement of Tchaikovsky. Like if I was playing it for myself, I would be like satisfied with it. Yeah, but then as soon as I'm like playing it for someone else, suddenly I'm like, okay, I need to be much more how should I say it? like more articulate. And then no. You know, it's not like if I just did that, you can hear the difference, right? It becomes very easily, it becomes like scrubby, like you're like scrubbing dishes. So being really, I think the violin works really well when you release it, when you think about it, almost like, I know this sounds like strange and counterintuitive, but almost like a drum. Think of it like, you know, like a timpani. The skin of the drum is flexible, right? Like the wood of the violin is, and the strings especially, they're flexible. So you get a sense of this, oh, okay, like any kind of chords. Like I get a lot of questions about how do I make my chords less crunchy, right? Right, that's like, you just gotta make sure that you start thinking about it like it's a pliable object. All right. So thank you, Erica, for sharing with us. You were practicing. That was a great question. Wow. Let me just take another refresh on this page. How many people there are? Okay, I'm just gonna scroll through a little more randomly. So, okay, we've got Iris here. Iris Decabooter. All right. Before we go into Iris' studio, let me take a look at the chat, see how you guys are doing. I'm sweating a little bit. I'm checking in with you as well. This is a lot. I'm like trying to handle the stream, handle like what's going on here, make sure everything's working. So this is a good moment to take a water break. Ooh. All right. So, all right. Here we go. Let's go in. this how to breathe, like breathe, or breathe musically? Okay, so I think about this like often as well, like how to breathe between 16 notes. I used to play this a lot as well. Huh? Oh, that's why I was out of tune. All right. Or as Hafiz famously said, doesn't matter if your strings are out of tune, you just play in tune. All right, so for this particular piece, again, it's about having this, you got to think about the violin like I keep referring back to the drum, so I'm going to refer to something else. You know, like when you hear a pianist, and it's just like pong, or a bell, when you hit a bell. It's like you hit it and then it rings, right? So obviously that's very counterintuitive for us because we have this long thing called the bow, right? And we can essentially, we're kind of like a singer, but and this is for all string players, right? We're kind of like a string player, but we don't need to breathe. We don't need to, we can just retake, right? We just like continuously have this long, like indefinite almost note that just we just retake the bow. So we don't really think about, a lot of string players don't think about breathing and find it difficult to apply that musically as an idea to their phrasing. But we can take a little moment to using this piece, this piece as an example. So I'm just going to mute, there we go. So for here, and usually I think about phrasing in a certain way. I think about singing it. I think about the direction as well. So singing it helps because then every time I physically need to take a breath, it means that it's time to take a breath, right? So like, where is it going? To here. Okay, and so this is a great piece to use as an example on like breathing, phrasing, all that kind of stuff, because it's very like it has motifs. I was about to say it's very repetitive, but then a better word is it has motifs, right? So there's another of the same. So how do you make all four of those sound different, right? We've already established that you go from here to here. But then suddenly you have this like long phrase. Notice how I actually, as the notes go down, so notes going down is usually a good indicator of what direction the phrase is. Like if it's going up, if it's, let's say for example, right, like, right, like it's a good indicator of what direction you need to go. And so here, dynamically, I should say. So da 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 yaga da ga dum da 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 yaga da ga dum. But then, and then the second thing is, in addition to notes, is harmony. Harmony tells us what color things are. So from a basic point, it might be like it might be like major, and then minor, right? Right, minor is always a little darker, and then so, but then diminished, and you have augmented, and you have a lot of different flavors, right? Colors, we call them in music, that can help guide you into what type of sound you should be thinking of. And because I like to say thinking of because it starts here, and then you try to imagine it first, and then you create it, right? So this is still pretty strong, but then it's a little more concerning, right? So that's what I like to think about. So thank you, Iris, for sharing with us. that was really cool, and it gave me like flashbacks back to when I was doing Suzuki method. Yeah, that was awesome. All right, who else do we have? We're just going to do a spin the wheel thing here. Okay, Maria. Let's have a listen to Maria. I like this. As I'm listening to it, as we're listening to it together, it has a calming effect. And I think about like what, as a teacher, you know, I always think about how can what would I do differently? But most of all, like how would I help suggest to the person how to get to their goal, right? And as I listen on, I feel like it loses a bit, like the beginning has the certainty of the weight of the chords behind it, in terms of the phrasing. Okay, so cool. All right, I'm just gonna get into it. We're gonna dive into this a little bit. So I felt like the beginning is always like very clear. So there's this sorry that you couldn't hear me before. I will adjust the volume a little better. But essentially there's this sort of taya in the beginning that makes it very easy for people studying this piece. And by the way, this is the Bach's Bach's Sonata for Violin, the first movement of the G minor. So, but it's like the first line is always the I can say the easiest to get, right? And then what happens later? Now this is, for this particular movement, a tricky thing, because after you've like sort of established the mood, then what do you do with it afterwards, right? And I think Maria did a great job establishing the mood. And if I were to give a little bit of feedback, I would say, think about what you now want to do with it. Right, so where are you going? And then a good way to, I would say, play, especially in this style, is to react. So you have your large phrasing. Where are you going? That's what I call phrasing. Where are you going in my mind? Because that way it's exploratory by nature, right? When you think about phrasing as it's a journey, when you think about music as if it were a journey, then you start exploring, and then you think about which direction do you want to go in. Do you want to go up, down, sometimes sideways, sometimes you just want to rest, pause. These are all directions. It starts to, at least for my mind, feel like a sense of, okay, I'm going somewhere. And then the second thing I think of is, what do I react to? What's happening in my environment, right? So, for example, suddenly there's this chord, right? This is a question. Are things as peaceful? Perhaps not. Leading on. Interruption. Settling down. Suddenly you're settling down, you're watching. I was just in Japan, so I was watching the cherry blossoms, just like the leaves just, fall gently. After you've settled down, it makes sense, right? So things then need to make sense. You need to order them in a way, structure them in a way that gives the listener a sense, a visualization. It's not even, I would say that they'll visualize maybe even a different thing, right? They'll relate differently, but you need to give the input. You need to output that for them, something for them to be able to input. So let's continue here. And then you gather yourself, right? But you kind of like pause. That's what I love about like this Bach, that the lower string like sort of holds you down. There's a weight to things, As you're leaving, you look behind and you don't want to leave, And this chord, it's so so I could get into this like so much, but yeah, that's basically how I think about phrasing in this piece. So that's a great question, Maria. All right, let's go back to wow, there's a lot of people. Oh, did I just see? All right, let's take Brett's photo. Okay, so Anastazja.
Oh no. He's choosing. Gosh, help.
Okay, so... Hey, Anastazja. Just go ahead and play because there is a little bit of delay. Okay. So this is the Bruch Violin Concerto. This is a very tricky section. Just gotta listen to it a little bit longer. she's approaching it in a very good way, right? You can hear it. Let me just put her in the background for a little bit. Approaching it in a very good way, where it's she's taking it very, very slow, and this is very, very well advised for this section. I mean, because it's so easy to get caught in these little traps that it's really good to take it slow. So I think that that's great that she's practicing it very slow. And I can also, another thing I wanted to commend is that I can also hear her using the pulse. So there's like a yaga daga 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 daga. And why is this important to even practice at a slow pace? It's because you need to practice how it's going to sound, right? Like in its final form, even at a slower pace. That makes sense, right? Like you imagine if you didn't apply all the things, all the dynamics, all the phrasings, and all the pulses, and then suddenly you had to play it fast. None of that would be there because you didn't practice it. So I really think that this is a great way of practicing, that she's doing these. So that when it's ready to become faster, it can be right where like all the pulses are there and they're not exaggerated, right? Like in the slow version, it kind of sounds a little exaggerated, but in the fast version, suddenly it's just like, it sounds great. So that's a great way of practicing Anastazja. I'm gonna go back and listen. Okay, so we hit the tutti there.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Nice. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous, Anastazja. You're just doing great. You're doing great. So, wow, that's great. Thanks for sharing your practice. Just keep at it. I mean, this is sounding awesome. I know that Bruch for me was a really, really tough concerto. It was the second romantic concerto that I learned. The first one was Mendelssohn, and I could just say that, like, I played it with orchestra when I was around 14, and afterwards, the conductor was like, maybe you should give it a rest, because the intonation's not getting any better. And I was like, oh no, what the heck? Like, that hurts me so much. But later on, I realized that what he said was right, and I needed to sort of step away from things and to be able to not hold myself back, because I had practiced the piece in the wrong way so often that I couldn't, during concerts, play it the right way. Like, and by right and wrong, I mean like just bad habits, right? Bad intonation. I was practicing it like, there might be something like this. I might be like nailing it only 1 or 2 times out of 10 times. But see, that's bad practice, right? If you play it and you've been playing it like 20 times and you only get it right 2 or 3 times, which version do you think is going to pop out during the concert, right? It's the way of like practicing. And we're talking a lot about practice because this is something that most people don't have like access to. It's just the how to practice part. And so I think on tonic it's really great because people get to listen to each other practicing, right? You get to listen, you get to notice, and you get to take note, oh, that's how this person's practicing it. It's not about like everyone is going to get to the performance stage whether they like it or not. The audition's going to happen, the performance is going to happen, you're going to be nervous, but how well you've practiced is going to greatly positively or negatively impact how you feel and what type of performance you give. So just wanted to add that out there. Thanks, Anastazja, for sharing. Nice profile picture. All right, let's go into some more people. All right. Oh, okay. Alex. Oh, this is the Gluck melody. So for context, this is a very sad piece. Sorrowful. All right, cool. Thanks for sharing, Alex. And I think of it. So your question is about your phrasing, your emotion. I want to talk about the emotion. I think that the emotion in certain pieces, the emotion comes first, and it affects how you phrase it. So, for example, this is like what kind of emotion do you want on those notes? You know, that kind of shivery sound, right? That's what you want to be able to get in this piece. Oh, I wish I could. Next live stream, I'm gonna find a way to be able to like put up the sheet music as well. But or maybe that's too much. Maybe my computer will explode. But I'm grabbing the sheet music right now because it's been a while. Oh no, and I don't even have the sheet music to this. But I'll go off of my head how this is. What I think. So for example, the So what I'm thinking about, right, I'm like drawing the emotion into the sound of something like this. So even my voice changes, right, after I come back to speaking. And what it is I used to call it inner tension. We've always been taught to have like, a very relaxed posture when we play, and it's true. That's your bass form. It's kind of like Super Saiyan, your bass form. But then when you go into like when you need to draw power, a type of, let's say when you're playing really loud, really strong, right, fortissimo. You need to at some point, make power happen. And the same goes for soft moments. I think most people don't think about the intensity of their music that's required when we're playing soft. It's kind of like if I were to, whisper like very intensely, right? And I look and I make eye contact. And even though my volume goes down, it's like my intensity actually raises, and suddenly this is everything, right? Like that's the difference. And so when you reverse engineer that in your mind into what that means for music, suddenly you have something that's very interesting, right? You have something that's very soft volume wise. And this is, again, harking back to dynamic is not just a volume dial, it is colors, right? It's also volume, but volume is just one category of many. So So in that da 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 da, I don't give up the tension. If I were to give up the tension, I'll give you a demo. This is me. Just only using dynamics, right? It doesn't have the same intensity, right? It doesn't have the same emotion. So that's the big difference for playing a piece like this. That the emotion of the music must be behind every single note that you play. And every single phrase then relates back to that. Okay, so anyway, thank you, Alex. And wow, there was a lot of people who were were playing today. I just wanted to. Well, I'm taking a screenshot because it's oh, that is not a button. But yeah, I wanted to thank you all for that's all we have time for. But you know, I want to make this a weekly thing. I think that I've really enjoyed this a lot, right? I feel like this is something that I can probably try to do weekly. Weekly? Would you guys like that? would that be too much or what? If I did this weekly? But that's at least even on my travels, I think this is a setup that, you know, it's not probably going to be the best internet every single time, but I hope that this is something that yeah, we can just all come back to every week, have some inspiration. Hopefully it inspires you a bit to practice for your week. You know, Sundays, Saturdays on some certain days as well. I know that some people work better Saturdays or Sundays. And we just come together and yeah, do this on a weekly, and then it kicks you off to your week to a great start. So yeah, that would be my dream. I hope that y'all should hold me accountable to it. So make sure you remind me on my social media channels. Make sure you you know, also subscribe so you don't miss out here on YouTube. So yeah, this is my new thing. It's my new thing. This is going to be mid-year resolution, April till the end of the year. Weekly live streams where I review your practice. What am I doing? I'm gonna hate myself. I'll announce it every week. And yeah, let me know by commenting on every post you see that, hey, this is something you want. Because again, I don't want to be pushing out something that if it's just like, I think that's what people want, right? Like, you guys let me know and I will deliver. I promise you. So, okay, how about before I go, I know that there was a lot of people. We'll keep track of who played and who didn't play. And yeah, just be back next week. How about before I go, you guys can tell me in the chat what short piece you'd like me to play. I've got my violin. I mean, you know, this is a gift to everyone. And hopefully I actually know the piece that you're about to offer. Ray, play BTS. No. But yeah, anyway, let me know in the chat what you'd like me to play. Oh man, what have I see? This is the stuff. I'm just throwing myself out there, not really thinking about the consequences. And yeah, but that's I don't know, this is my me being in my creative zone, and trying new things out. Okay, so all right. Oh, B, Vivaldi, Liebeslied, Paganini Caprice. Ooh, we have so many over here. Waltzing Matilda, Goblin. I am practicing Goblin, but that's on tonic. That's a little, you know, this is why we have tonic, because what I just said, like, I have to deliver at a certain level, right? But on tonic, I can literally be like, well, pooping my pants, and it's fine, right? Like, musically, I mean, not actually. No, but cut that later. But yeah, essentially, where on YouTube, I always feel like I gotta put this in this like context of, hey, this is not a performance. But all right, I just saw something. Let's see here. All right. Family VF says Paganiniana. Let's go. Obviously not the whole thing. This is like only the first and second variation. Thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you next week. We'll also be uploading videos, so make sure you hit like and subscribe. All the YouTube stuff. It actually does help with the algorithm, everything. And yeah, can't wait to see you all in a week on the live stream or in a video upcoming this week. Weekly videos, weekly live streams. That's what we want to do. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye. You did such a good job. It's such a good job. It's great. So good. So good.